Valerie Jenkins stretched out on the sofa in her New York loft apartment, enjoying a rare moment of downtime. Her slim but curvy figure was comfortably encased in sweatpants and a heavy sweater, as the New World Symphony played softly in the background. Outside the window, cloudy fall skies and swirling leaves signaled the arrival of a new season. At 31 years old, Valerie had achieved significant professional success as an international music consultant, working with wealthy clients to organize high-profile events around the world. Her extensive knowledge of music was complemented by fluency in multiple languages, including Italian, French, Spanish, Mandarin, Chinese, and Korean. Despite her professional accomplishments, brilliant mind and stunning beauty, with flowing dark hair and piercing black eyes, Valerie felt a certain emptiness in her personal life. Since losing her parents 5 years earlier, she craved a deeper sense of purpose and unconditional love that seemed to elude her gilded existence. As Valerie relaxed with a spy novel, pondering these thoughts, the phone suddenly rang. The concierge informed her a delivery had occurred. Curious, she told him to send it up. A few minutes later, a fit young bike messenger appeared at her door with an express envelope. Valerie tipped him and carried the mysterious package to the living room, an electric tingle of excitement running through her. Inside the envelope, Valerie found a letter and a bank draft for $50,000. The letter urgently requested her immediate assistance on a sensitive matter of national importance, with instructions to call a number within the hour to arrange a meeting at a nearby coffee shop. If she required verification, the letter said, she should contact the President of the United States, a personal friend who would vouch for its validity. Valerie's mind raced as she processed the strange communication. Driven by an adventurous spirit and insatiable curiosity, she decided to make the call. The person at the other end cordially thanked her and confirmed the meeting details before hanging up. Still reeling, Valerie phoned the private number the president had given her. He picked up on the second ring. "Valerie, so nice to hear from you," the president greeted her warmly. "I'm sorry, I can't talk long, but yes, this matter is of vital importance. The country needs your unique abilities. I'm so hoping you can help us." "Of course, Mr. President," Valerie replied, composed despite her inner turmoil. "I'll do whatever I can to assist." "Excellent. I leave you in very capable hands then. We'll talk more soon." With that, the line went dead. In a daze, Valerie headed to her bedroom to change and pack an overnight bag as instructed. Her agile mind spun with possibilities about what skills she could offer in service of her country. 30 minutes later, Valerie arrived at the designated coffee shop. A solemn, nondescript man in a suit rose to greet her. "Mr. Townsend of the FBI," he introduced himself, flashing a badge. After ordering drinks, Townsend explained the situation in hushed tones. They required somebody with Valerie's rare combination of musical expertise and multilingual abilities to assist on an extremely sensitive case, the details of which could not be disclosed. He stressed the need for complete secrecy. "If, after being briefed, you choose not to accept the assignment, there will be no record of this conversation, and you may keep the initial payment with no further obligation. Though, of course, Uncle Sam will still expect his tax cut," Townsend said with a wry smile. "But I sincerely hope you'll join us." Valerie hesitated. "I'm in. When do we start?" "Immediately. Go home, pack for an extended stay, and wait further instructions. And remember, not a word to anyone. Your safety and our national security depend on it." With a quick handshake, Townsend departed, leaving Valerie alone with her thoughts and hammering heart. She felt poised on the brink of something momentous, a great and terrible adventure, like stepping into the pages of one of her beloved spy thrillers. Valerie walked home in a fog, stopping briefly to deposit the check at her apartment. She informed her agency to keep all new bookings on hold until further notice. She grabbed her packed suitcase, threw in her laptop and a few minute items, then called the number as directed. Precisely 15 minutes later, a dark sedan pulled up out front. The driver helped load Valerie's bags into the trunk and handed her a plane ticket as she slid into the back seat. During the short ride to LaGuardia, he instructed her to, again, reveal nothing of her mission, if pressed, beyond meeting with her friends at the White House. On the flight to D.C., Valerie gazed out the window at the glittering ocean waves, her mind a whirl. Why would a matter of national security require her particular knowledge and connections? So far, the job had been interesting, but hardly crucial. Nothing her skills were essential for. But clearly, this was something else entirely. After touching down at Reagan Airport, a limo driver bearing a placard with her name whisked Valerie away. He raised the privacy screen, informing her the route was need to know, but all would be explained on arrival. Settling into the plush leather, she replayed the day's extraordinary events. Valerie soon realized they were heading neither to the White House nor any government building she recognized. When the limo finally came to a halt, it was in a nondescript office complex where an armed guard waved them through a security gate into an underground garage. Exiting the vehicle, Valerie was greeted by Tim, a trim man who welcomed her and guided her into an elevator. As they descended several levels, he explained they were entering a top-secret facility. Ushered into a living room-like space, Valerie took a seat while Tim fetched two others to join them. An older man introduced as Dr. Bob Thomas, and Janet, an intense woman near Valerie's age. After Valerie signed a stack of non-disclosure agreements, the trio began an astonishing briefing. They shared the story of George, a middle-aged man who had experienced bizarre transformation after having a mental episode. George now appeared to be receiving communications from an alien civilization far older and more technologically advanced than anything known on Earth. Most shockingly, he could only communicate using a complex musical language. "This is where you come in," Tim said. "We need you to attempt to decipher George's musical speech, to learn its grammar, vocabulary, and hopefully begin to translate the information he's channeling from these older ones. The fate of humanity may rest on understanding their message." Valerie sat stunned as the reality set in. Aliens were real. They had made contact, and she was asked to be one of the first humans to communicate with them, to serve as a conduit for the most important dialogue in history. "I realize it's a lot to take in," Dr. Thomas said kindly, seeing Valerie's overwhelmed expression, "but we're convinced you have the singular combination of skills and intellect to tackle this challenge. Will you help us?" Valerie took a deep breath, met his gentle blue eyes, and felt her resolve harden to diamond. She suddenly knew with absolute certainty that this is what she was meant to do, the purpose she had yearned for. "Absolutely," she said, rising to her feet. "Take me to him." The team escorted Valerie to George's room in the medical wing. As she took in the sight of the pale man lying on a bed, tethered to beeping machines, Valerie's heart clenched with compassion and profound curiosity. She approached the bedside and took George's cool hand in her own. "Hello, George," she said softly. "My name is Valerie. I'm here to learn from you and help you in any way I can." At her touch and words, George's eyes fluttered open. To Valerie's amazement, his lips parted and a stream of haunting melodic tones emerged. The sounds were achingly beautiful and completely alien, sending shivers down her spine. As she listened intently, Valerie realized she could begin to distinguish repeated elements, cadences, and rhythms that must correspond to some linguistic structure. It would be a monumental challenge to decode, like learning an impossible complex otherworld symphony, and yet, in that moment, Valerie had never felt so wholly engaged and alive. She smiled at George, her eyes sparkling with shared wonder as the first tentative notes of understanding passed between them. And so began the partnership that would change the course of human history in a simple touch and the language of music. If you enjoy our videos, please click Patreon on the front page and buy me a drink. Thank you. Please like and subscribe the Watcher in the Fall channel.